Hello and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Rings, the Let's Play Blind with Rambler, who's just got caught on his own saliva there. Sorry about that. Professional, as always. Right, anyway, last time we managed to get up with Bryce, and yeah, we probably got rocked quite heavily by him, but hey, whatever's a booze and drunken gay encounter with Bryce, yeah, I'm up for it. So there you go. So that went well. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to carry on as per usual to the end of this particular playthrough. I believe the next dragon we're going to get to know a bit better, I think, is Lorem, if I'm not much mistaken. Also, the dragons that appear at the title screen now, when you completed a run through, the title screen, the dragons that show up on the title screen as you complete the game over and over again signifies the events that you've done within the other timeline, so it helps you keep track of which storylines you've completed, etc, etc. I'm assuming at this point Anna isn't dead, because we've gone well past the point that Anna would be dead, so she's good to go. I mean, obviously she dies of cancer in the end, but still. So that's good. So yeah, I think maybe the theory I had in the last couple of videos there, you have to play through everybody's storyline again to get the true ending, I don't think actually counts. I think you do only have to do it once, and then whatever happens at the end we'll see. But anyway, as I was saying, after we've done this run through, we will hook up with Lorem next, and we'll see where we go with that. So what we're going to do then is we're going to meet with Kevin this time. Remember Kevin from the last video, the college guy? Said we'd help him out. Well, that's what we're going to do. Again, can't remember what voice I gave him, so we'll just have to make do with my shitty voice acting. Although most of you have done so far and have been very kind and polite about it by not saying anything. Keep that up, people. Okay, so here we go then. That must be him. Hello! Good to see you again. This is where you live, huh? For the time being. That's pretty nice for a small town like this one. Are you not from around here? God, what the fuck happened to my voice there? No, I'm just here for the job until the next semester starts. Basically, I'm trying to drum up interest for the college and see if there's anyone around who'd like to apply for it. How's that working out? Well, I haven't actually met that many candidates out here so far. Probably because they keep dying all the time, but still. For a town like this one, it's typical for the young people to go into an apprenticeship to prepare for their future job rather than go to college, but if there's anyone willing, we want to find them. Well, there is a research place here in this town where I'm sure a lot of academics go. Maybe you can go check that out, or get them to back you up a bit about education and further. I'm sure they would. I mean, they're quite busy and snappy, but I'm sure there's a few there that will help you. Even out here? Yeah, there's always an even more highly educated people in the cities as they expand. Cities? That's the first I hear of cities in this world. I thought this town was where it's at. Then you've really been missing out. This town isn't really all that special when it comes down to it. I've lived in the city for most of my life. Of course, there's also where the college is. And I don't think they're building out here anyway. I think that an ambassador might show me round a bit, but apparently that isn't the case. You know, what with all the murders going round. Your visit is a bit of a political issue right now. The bottom line is that it's also for your own protection. I don't need lecturing from you, Kevin. I've been to uni already, mate. Fucking 28, you know? I'm a boy, a fully tall boy. Whatever that means. Everything surrounding the portal has been a well-kept secret. People know that it exists and that we currently have human visitors, but the exact location is only known to those who live here. If it ever got out, I don't think this town could face the ensuing torrent of tourists trying to catch a glimpse of you. No, therefore, you know, the town would get some money coming in, jobs would expand, that college you were just saying earlier could be built here, and overall the economy would vastly improve. I mean, yes, okay, we've got the impending meteorite going to kill us all, but we'll get past that, it's alright. I mean, they did in the one timeline, so they will again. So yeah, douchebag! I mean, it's not exactly your fault, it's the council's organisation about whether the rest of the world gets to know about the town or not, but still, douchebag, hello! You've just gone and crippled your own future here. Well, if you were going to have one here, that is. Travel has been restricted as well. There are strict conditions for people who want to come out here. The only reason I was allowed to is because this isn't the first time I'm doing this job. People here already know me. Oh, you're a bit of a player, are you, Kevin? Yeah, I got that vibe from you. But you're a bit of a know-it-all player as well, you know, one that's like superly macho confident. A bit like Bryce, but Bryce hides his alcoholism with it though, so he's got a sensitive soul. Kevin, on the other hand, is a bit more, you know, macho. But anyway, obviously if he saw Bryce would completely and utterly pin him down and give him the biggest bone of his life, but let's not get into details. Heck, I didn't even know that this was the town in question until I arrived and heard everyone talking about you. Well, I'm glad they're taking this matter seriously. They certainly are. I'd like to know more about these cities if you talked about, though. if I read that right. Well, I can only speak about the one I live in, but what do you want to know? I only really have this town as a point of reference, so why don't you tell me about what's different? Gee, that's only pretty much everything. Out here, living in general seems to be a lot cheaper than it is in the city, and there is much more room for everything. There are green spaces, fields, parks, and farms. You don't really see that in the city. I know how cities work, game. If you're going to give me a fucking lecture on geographical, human, political landscapes on cities and countries and all that, I did that at school. Again, don't need to know it. Already know it. It's boring as fuck. Unless you want a job and it to make money, that's about it, really. Oh, if you're a savvy businessman or woman that has connections and wants to destroy local economies for the sake of corporate greed, maybe you'd find it more interesting, but still. People are more laid back, and there is a bigger sense of community as everybody knows everyone, which can be both good and bad. For example, rumours travel fast and survive well in areas like this one. In the city, you can just make new friends when that happens, but out here, a few well-placed stories could mean social death. Yeah, well, with the advent of social media, though, although I suppose in this game they haven't quite got there yet, that also gets completely and utterly wiped out in the cities as well, so... In the city, it's also much more crowded. Buildings pretty much line the streets, and there isn't much room for anything else. We are literally having a lecture on this, are we? I wish I was drinking today. Why would I always pick the wrong opportunities when it comes to drinking? But with the clubbing scene and opportunities for socialising, there's no shortage of potential friends and shag buddies. There are also many different jobs and education opportunities that you wouldn't find out here. Like what? Creative jobs of all kinds, for example. Game designers, writers, artists, that kind of stuff. You know, the stuff that really doesn't matter on the grand scope of things, and yet we somehow put a lot of social importance on it because it distracts us from real-world issues. Which is important to me because I like video gaming and do not knock it in any sense of the imagination. So those of you who are game creators out there, keep it going. The same goes for teaching positions in those areas as well. For example, if I wanted to learn how to write a romance novel, I could find a course for that easily. Why would you need a course on that? It's called Read Romance Novels, get a general gist of plot and writing styles, and then come up with your own that's probably a derivative of all the others anyway that were derivatives of others in the first place. And then give it a really slappy name, like 50 Shades of Black. Oh no, wait, they did that for a film, didn't they? 50 Shades of... You know this is going to be a pornographic novel, and yet not really. That kind of title. Out here, this would be a lot more difficult. You know what I mean? Yes, absolutely. I've always wanted to write a sexual domination novel. In a way, it feels like you've always been busy when you live in the city. The streets are usually filled with people trying to get somewhere. Of course, there's also a side effect of the small apartments, as people tend to get out more often and seek entertainment elsewhere. Which do you prefer? In the end, I suppose I prefer the city. That's not to say that I think one is better than the other. Different strokes of different folks and all that. You know, out here people would probably laugh at some of the things I do in my free time. I don't want to know what you do in your free time, I can already imagine. But in the city you get enough like-minded people to get to even get conventions going about all kinds of things. What conventions do you go to? I like all kinds of geeky... You're not a geek, Kevin. Fuck you. This is the first time in the game where I know the writing's bullshitting me here. You are not a geek. Far from it, my friend. Just no, you just go for the cosplay girls. Or boys, whatever you prefer. That's all. Bollocks to that. Cartoons, comics and all that stuff. Especially the manga, anime... No, what was it? Manga, hentai, yaoi stuff? Whatever. I've even written a few fanatics before. I've even written a few fanfics before too, since I can't really draw all that well. Aren't cartoons usually for kids? Near Rambo, you are being... absolutely 100% correct on that one, but I am a big kid, so I don't care. That's like saying books are usually just for kids. No. No, it's not. Cartoons are just a medium. Of course, there are some that are aimed at kids, but there are cartoons for adults as well. Cartoons for adults, I see. I wonder if Bryce would be interested in my anime porn collection. Not like that. Well, I mean, there are cartoons like that, but that wasn't what I was talking about. In any case, what falls under geeky interests for you? Let's see. Oh god, here we go. I guess you could say I'm kind of a techie. I do like following news about technology and hearing about all new developments in the industry. Well, I suppose I could accept Kevin for that. All right, writing. I can buy that. You must be pretty interested in the portal then. Oh right, I didn't even consider that I could actually go there and check it out. If I knew where it was, that is. Well, it's not exactly difficult. You can see it out of my fucking window, I think. So yeah, it's over there, pal. I could show you. If you did that, you'd be like the coolest human I ever met. I suppose you'd be that by default, since you're also the only human I've ever met, but you get the idea. Let's just go and break all the rules. I've got the police captain as my bum buddy, so he'll let us off. I'll be right behind you. You go up in front, I'm gonna size your ass up. See, again, how could you hide that? It's so fucking huge. There it is in all its glory. That looks so much cooler than I thought it would. Halt! State your business! Oh shit, I thought Sebastian was dead at this point. Bollocks! Give me that gun! Give me that gun! Give me... There we go. Oh crap, I killed him in this timeline! No! Oh god. No, I'm joking. I just wanted to show the portal to my friend here that I've known for no more than 10-15 minutes. Well, friend, you can look, but don't touch anything, and no photos either. Do I look like I have a camera? For someone who likes technology and shit, yeah, you should do. If it was like a smartphone camera or something like that. Ass hat. So he told you he wasn't a geek. Fucking lies. Well, you could be hiding something in your fur. Are you going to give me a pat down? I don't think so, but I know a man who would love to give you a pat down. What's that, though? Ah, flyers for our Midwest institution, sorry. I could give you one if you're interested in going back to school. No thank you, I'm quite happy with my current job, which is protecting the portal from any unsavory individuals, until I get killed. I don't know that, but, you know, something tells me I will. What's up with you, Sebastian? Just doing my job near Ramble. He could be a spy. Really? There has been a lot of interest in the portal from the cities. They have made us offers, but for now we're not doing anything until we see how your visit turns out. In the end, it's just a political power struggle. Small towns like us have to protect our interests, and in the process reinforce the stereotype of country bumpkins being conspiracy nuts. You know, I could arrest you, right? Respect is a two-way street. Just saying. He's got you there, pal. That is true. Trust is good, but control is better. It's just a matter of perspective. Well, I think I've seen enough here anyway. Let's head back near Ramble. Sure. Bye, Seb. Try not to get killed. You're not gonna leak anything, are you? I know what Bryce will do to me. What he did last night left me a really sore bum. Oh, of course not. Now that I think about it, I totally could, though. Oh, really? I have some connections and a potential audience. Now you're starting to sound like Sebastian had a point. No, not really. I just know a few people from writing a column in our college magazine. It got popular enough that it was even featured in the local newspaper for a while. Interesting. What did you write about? Nothing special, really. It was just commentary about current events. I see. I guess you were pretty involved in your local community then. Not more than anyone else, I think. What's it like actually to live on campus? Well, don't you know? Did you not get a campus near Ramble when you were doing your biology and shit? Perhaps you didn't. Some people I knew when I was at uni couldn't do it. Either because they were like late applications or couldn't afford the accommodation on campus because it's usually more expensive than renting, but oh well. College in general is a pretty unique period of life, I'd say. Something I've noticed is that some people are not prepared for the independence they have when living on campus. You're given a chaotic schedule where you have nothing to do on some days, whereas on others, you are kept very busy with classes, homework and other things like you have to do. Yeah, well, when I was on my course, it was busy every fucking day. The only sort of like half day we got off was Wednesday, and even then, that wasn't until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, all our lectures started at usually about 8, half 8 in the morning, and they'd go on till about 5 in the evening, sometimes later. Nothing no later than 6, mind you, but still, you know, it was a full-on day if you were doing physics, or I imagine any science, chemistry, I imagine as well. I think I knew some people in chemistry that had longer than that. It was a fucking nightmare, man. It was fun and interesting stuff, don't get me wrong, but it was intense. You didn't have much room for socialising. And you were given homework, and it sucked. Although, occasionally it was interesting, but you know what I mean. I can sympathise. With business buddies, roommates and classmates, it's not really hard to make new friends. Was fucking for me, the amount of work I had to do. Although I did make some in the end, and they were very nice people. You also get to meet a lot of people who share similar interests from taking the same classes or being in the same clubs. And don't forget about the dorms, so all these people are always within reach, which can also be both good and bad. You can be tempted to hang out with friends when you should really be studying. For many people, it becomes the first taste of real freedom and independence. It was very good, I enjoyed it. Some just handle it better than others, I suppose. I fucking loved it. That could be a problem with team projects, for example. There's always someone who ends up never showing up and not doing any part of the work. Yeah, well, I was there, but you know what? It didn't really matter in the end. For me, it's not really a problem since I actually enjoy what I'm doing here. I don't mind the homework, and sometimes I read up on subjects in advance so I don't get left behind. I even corrected the professor once or twice during a lecture. Oh, some risky business. I had a few of those in my lectures, you know, the one or two who corrected them. But to be fair, we're all human beings, and the professors took it very, very well, actually, for the most part. Or the lecturers took it very well, for the most part, because they were very tired, and they were doing their research, and for them, lecturing was kind of like a side job. Like most of our lecturers were actually researchers at our university, which I'm sure is the same for most universities in the UK with science, probably the same around the world as well. So I can imagine trying to split the time between research and lecturing was quite difficult, so they didn't always get it right, but I didn't mind. I enjoyed it. I think that wouldn't be a good idea with certain kinds of professors. Oh, I got lucky. I had some very nice professors and lecturers. They were good. Well, with ours, I was even allowed the privilege of giving a guest lecture of my own class once. Okay, now you're just showing off, Kevin. You're just showing off now. Now, I was right about you. You're one of those aggressive, egotistical types. Yeah, that's kind of the thing I was talking about. Oh, come on. Learning should be fun. Certainly is for me. I suppose being able to have that kind of attitude makes it a lot easier. Certainly does. Let's see if it keeps up once you have a few more semesters under your non-existent belt. Don't be so negative. Just for your information, I do have a belt at home. Besides, it's not as if I'm not some sort of antisocial hermit who only focuses on his studies. I just know when to say no to my friends. Well, fair enough. If you're in control, that's fair enough. Oh, really? Yes, we usually get together on the weekends and do some cooking together. People can only stand so much frozen food before they get sick of it. And eating out in the city can add up pretty quickly if you're not careful. Yeah, that is very true. Okay, he's lecturing us now about university life, but actually if you're thinking of going to university in the UK or elsewhere, some of the stuff he's saying here is actually quite relevant, so, it's best to pick some notes up here. I see. We rotate the cook every week, but apparently people are looking forward to when it's my turn. I've got a lot of compliments on my homemade mac and cheese. Bollocks, is it homemade? You just get the craft stuff and then just add egg to it. Now you're making me hungry. I bet they'll miss it, but they'll get to taste it again once summer vacation is over in a month or so. Well, no, because there's a giant meteor coming down that's going to kill us all. And in the meantime, you're just out there handling out flyers? I can't read today, I apologise. Yep, it's good to help our college. I can also save up a bit in the process. It's certainly easier than trying to juggle a job and homework at the same time later on or if things get tight. What were you studying again? Psychology. Oh, okay, to be fair to you, Kevin, I liked psychology. I wasn't allowed to study it because parents said it was rubbish, but I've always been interested in that. I see. Alright, go ahead and analyse me right now. Doesn't really work like that. I know, you just passed the test. Oh, I know what you're getting at. Maybe I'll steal the test from you, though. Maybe we're both trying it out on a few people I know. Be my guest. On a more serious note, tell me something about what you're learning. God, how long is this going to go on for? I'm not finding this the most riveting thing in the world. What? Anything? I mean, the ice cream guy was alright, but still. I just want to get an idea of the subject and whether it's comparable to our own understanding of psychology. I see. Well, I could tell you about an old and very simplified model of our psyche that we get taught in introductory classes. Well, sounds good. Okay, so this model divides our psychic apparatus into three distinct parts called id, ego, and superego. Oh, just like what we did. And it turns out it's all bollocks anyway. The id represents our most basic desires and instinctive drives. That is, our physical needs and wants, like hunger and thirst, as well as desires and impulses. What's the difference? An impulse is more like wanting to lash out in anger, for example. The id seeks out immediate gratification for these urges. It is in conflict with the superego, which represents learned behaviour like cultural and moral rules and societal standards, the kind of stuff we learn from our role models like parents, teachers, or guardians. The superego is the part that forms our consciousness and controls our sense of right and wrong. It seeks to uphold these standards to perfection, which most of the time goes against what the id wants at any given moment. You sound like you had to roll to learn a lot of this. If those internalised rules are broken, this misbehaviour is punished by the superego with feelings of guilt and shame. This way we are compelled to behave in accordance with these rules even if the id tempts us to do otherwise. And in between those two conflicting parts of us there is the ego, which is trying to mediate. It represents our rational mind that seeks to please the id strives in a way that doesn't harm us or goes against the superego's goals. However, it also serves another master, the external world. The ego includes all of our decision making and how we respond to external stimuli. Ultimately, it's the one calling the shots while trying to balance the needs of the id, the superego, and the external world. And there you have it, an outdated, simplified model of our psyche. Still serves as a good introduction though. Oh, thank you. Actually, I think I may have heard about something like this before. Why did you go with psychology in particular? I'm just interested in how people work, I suppose. It's also an incredibly diverse subject, and so are the potential jobs. It's got a point. I say I always like watching people and trying to work out how they work. It's obviously, from some perspectives, a bit creepy, but I don't go that far. I just like to understand people for who they are, because I struggle with socialising myself. You know, I can't socialise with people very well at all. I panic, I get scared, and I'm always picking the wrong people for me. You know, I always pick people that at first seem interesting, then I'm like, oh god, no, you're one of those. And I'm not actually blaming those people in question, it's me being terrible and not clear with what I aim to have. And not really making an effort to pursue any interests or chasing things in terms of hobbies and stuff like that. I just don't do that, so it's my own fault for being a lazy git. But at the same time, I genuinely have no idea. It's, to me, it's like a skill I have to learn type thing. It's not natural or instinctive to me. It's very alien, if that makes sense. I know that sounds a bit stupid, but it legitimately is. You know, it's like the equivalent of learning to drive a car for the first time, you have no idea about cars. You know, when you get in the car, you have no idea what any of the things do or how to get it going or anything like that, especially if it's a manual. But then over time you learn and you get better at it and you learn all the tricks of the trade and stuff like that. It's essentially the same sort of premise. You know, I have no idea how to do it. I'd have to go on courses to learn it or practice, and no, never very good at it. And I've just retreated now and just do things on the internet, because at least on the interwebs you can say what you want and nobody can shut you up except the people that live in your house, like my parents. They do that a lot. But anyway, just being able to understand people is such a huge factor in many fields, and the skills you learn can come in handy in all areas of life, really. When people hear about psychology, most usually think of psychologists or psychotherapists, but they also can be counsellors for communities and organisations, researchers or teachers. You also often see them teaming up with other professionals to influence every part of society. Yeah, I knew that. Just think about hospitals, courtrooms, prisons, even schools and universities. They can also become coaches for high-performance jobs when they work with CEOs, athletes and performers of all kinds. Every institution and every business that works with people can profit from the presence of someone who has studied psychology. That's why you'll also find this kind of knowledge to be incredibly helpful even when you are a manager or in sales, because those jobs require empathy and understanding of your client's needs. Understanding people is just something that can come in handy pretty much wherever you go, and that's what psychology is all about. And it's very true on that one. Even in video games, psychology is a factor. Horror games are an obvious example, but also with tutorials or UI design and how people interact with your game, psychology and player expectations are always going to be a factor. Very true. I think I get the idea. Out there, I think a lot could still be done to improve the image of the field, you know. What do you mean? Well, there is a bit of a stigma to admitting that you need help, especially when you're doing fine physically. For them, it's a sign of weakness, so in order to preserve their image, they hide everything away, but blocking those feelings doesn't solve the problem. If anything, it only makes it worse. Very true. Is that something you'd like to work with? Me, honestly, I don't know if I could tackle a big issue like that. It's good for me that psychology is such a diverse field, because I'm not quite sure where I'm going with it yet, or what particular job I'd like to have after I'm done with my studies. I see. I think you still have plenty of time to figure that out. Yep, before I came here for my summer job, I was interning at a psychotherapist's office for a month. I got to hear about some very interesting and also tragic cases. I thought I wanted to help people with issues like that, but sometimes it's pretty hard not to be affected too much by those stories, so I'm not sure if that's the right job for me. Yeah, it must be pretty hard, some of those psychologists, psychiatrists who have to deal with some heavy shit, you know, how it doesn't affect them. Fair play to them. But you already like working with people, right? You mean you cook for them? I don't know, maybe interning there was a little too close for the sun for me. If you didn't, why would you be the one to hand out the flyers? Just like you mentioned earlier, psychology comes with handy in sales and similar jobs where you have to interact with people. Handing out flyers is pretty similar to that, don't you think? I guess. You seem to be doing well enough with that. You're helping to bring your oh, my voice is going again, sorry. You're helping to bring your college and people together, and in this way you're helping both. And it's been a lot of fun too. After all, I got to meet you and even get a glimpse at the portal. That's very true. Who knows? Maybe one of those people you handed a flower will one day turn out to be famous for their work. Now, I think that's a little too idealistic, but I get your point. It doesn't always have to be about big problems. Little problems need solving too. Like what you're eating on the weekend. Haha, yeah! You're clever. Oh, God, come to this end, please. I suppose in a way, if I didn't... I know a little bit about psychology, but I don't know that much. But I've dabbled in books on the subject of various fields. It's just very interesting. And the stuff they're talking about now, I already know. But again, it's to introduce you to it. So I suppose if it tickled your interest, this is a good way to learn about it, a little bit of it. But... God, it's also a video game. And you said yourself, video game. Oh, you need to be able to connect with your players and their needs and what their expectations and hyper and all that. You're not doing a very good job with it at the moment. I digress. What about you, though? What do you mean? Well, I don't want to pry, but we've been talking all this time, and you know a lot more about me than I do about you. Maybe you can't say anything about where you grew up or what you studied because it's top secret or whatever, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Well, I don't like talking about myself all that much, and I think there are some things that are better left unsaid. I see. But if you're curious, I guess it's only fair to share a few things as well. You know, it's been fun talking about college. I already got my degrees a while ago. It was interesting to go hunting for jobs with my unusual combination of degrees, but I thought that would open up a few doors. But before I got anywhere, our world underwent a few changes that made a lot of jobs obsolete. Mass death, big one. It's been a rough time since then. Turns out those degrees came in handy after all, because in the end they enabled me to come here. If I consider all the good and bad that's happened here since my arrival, it's been a vacation compared to home, and it looks like the vacation might come to an end soon. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I might need some surgery on my butt, but I can only hope my visit here will have started something that will mean change for our world, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I shouldn't be such a downer, though. Sorry for bringing it up, but maybe that explains why I don't like talking about it. What's your professional opinion on this? Well, in my professional opinion as a filter distributor, or flyer distributor even, sorry, I recommend a generous application of hugs, but that's... oh, fuck hugs. I can't stand people who do that. I know it's supposed to be mentally healthy for you and promote love, peace, tolerance, release of dopamines and other endorphins and other kinds of hormones, but bollocks to hugs. I fucking hate hugs. And people who go like, oh, I will introduce you with a hug. I just want to pull out a shotgun and go, get the fuck away from me. I don't know who the fuck you are and I don't want you touching me up, bitch. Or bastard or whatever. It's non-gender specific. So anyway, yeah. Hug my shotgun if you want. It's just not going to end very well. They probably would actually, and then I'll be like, fuck, because I'll realise I don't have any shells. But still, they don't do that. You look like you can need them. I don't think that'll be... well, we better do the good thing, and we say, oh, alright then, dickhead. I took a step forward, and I soon found myself being enveloped by the furry dragon's embrace. With him pulling me close, it felt like a giant flurry. But mind you, though, he's a bloke. We've just had a gay sex with Bryce, so I'm guessing it's kind of like, you know, pushing us out there. Not that this is a gay moment or anything, absolutely not, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Testing the waters. With him pulling me close, it felt like a giant furry blanket that was all around me as the hairs tickled my exposed skin. Then he dug his claws into my spine and pulled it out before I realised he'd eaten my brain at the end. After a few seconds we parted and he took a step back again. I don't need a description of how hugs work, game. I know how they work. That's why I don't like them. I don't think it'll be better for you in the future. I don't think I can do anything to help with that though. I know, you prefer the little problems. Oh, it suddenly got dark. It's getting dark. I should probably head out and look for a cave or else I'll have to sleep in the streets. What are you talking about? Well, it seems like all the hostels are already full. Despite the vetting process for visitors, enough people got in to take all available short-term lodging spots in the town. Oh, really? Yep, despite only a few people knowing your location, or that of the portal, journalists and tourists are flocking to the towns, hoping to catch a glimpse, or at least find a clue of your whereabouts. That leaves me with the option of finding or renting a cave for the night, or sleeping in the streets. Not that I mind sleeping in a cave, but for someone like me, it's usually someone for an adventurous weekend rather than a way of life. And rocks don't exactly make for the best bedding. You're just being an arsehole now, and now you're trying to invite yourself into my home. You've already done that, asshat. Fine, you can sleep here, dickhead. Really? Yeah, there's plenty of room here, and it's kind of my fault that you couldn't find another place anyway. Plus, I'm just trying to get the good ending, so... I guess that means you don't share the officer's suspicious about me being a spy, then. No, I butt-fucked him the other day. It was lovely. Not really. No, not the one out that we spoke to, but his boss. Big strapping dragon. No, I can totally take this room apart while you're sleeping. You're not helping your case there. Besides, you wouldn't find anything special here, apart from a lot of lemons. Don't know why that is. Hey, I'd keep an eye on that copy of Draconic Desire if you've got the shelf there. Might be tempted to snatch it when you're not looking. Like I mind. If you need something for bedtime reading, feel free to help yourself. Oh, I will. You met with Kevin and learned a lot about city and college life. Congratulations. Woohoo! I got lectured by someone. Ugh. Boring. Stay out at the end of the day. Hopefully that completes Kevin's side story or whatever it is. So we shall see. Oh, Seb! I hate it. Do you know what? Every time I see Seb dead, it really upsets me. So I can't wait for the moment we can save him, if we can save him. But I'm hoping we can. Ugh. Poor Seb. He does a lot for us. After a night of turbulent dreams, because of return, blah 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 blah. I'm going to bring Bryce. Because I'm going to bring Bryce. Why would I not bring Bryce? Bing bong! That must be my bum buddy. I hope you're ready to see the fireworks, because I brought everything we need, including the lube. In front of him, there was a woven basket that was closed at the top. It reminded me a lot of a typical picnic basket. What are you talking about? Oh, come on, Neo. Stop acting dumb, you asshat. Snacks and other things. You'll see. Let's go then. Snacks and other things. Oh, brilliant. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. Oh god, we had this with Anna, didn't we? Where is everyone else? I thought the whole population was watching the fireworks. Well, there are a lot more public spaces, but someone like you would get pushed around a lot in the crowds. Besides, I think you'd appreciate the solitude. And my things. If you say so. The fireworks should start any minute now. If you're hungry, you can grab something from the fun basket. Why am I laughing at this? This is perfectly normal for a lot of healthy people out there. Well, not necessarily having sex with a dragon if they're gay or anything, but still, the whole gay thing, it's perfectly normal out there. Why am I laughing at it? Oh, I don't know. It's because I'm immature and stupid, but still. Fun basket? What's that? That's what I call it. Well, I didn't know snacks were that that much fun for you. God, you being that dense! They certainly can be, besides there are other things inside as well. I know! God, Bryce, you have to tolerate me. Complete amateur, inadequate gay thing. I'm sorry, my character is such a dunderhead. I really am. You can do better, Bryce. You can do so much better. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sound of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded into a pattern of colours. More rockets followed, the thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. Yay! How many times have we seen this in our timelines now? Got to give credit to Rambler though, he's being very sexually diverse. You remember what happened last time there were fireworks? Oh boy, I do! Is that what the fun basket's for? Actually, no, not unless you're feeling adventurous. Crikey, mate. We're already outside, that's pretty adventurous, I'd say. Suit yourself. Bryce opened the basket, feeling around with it with one of his claws. Meanwhile, my gaze wandered into the illuminated night sky. Suddenly, a terrible realization hit me. Considering how public of an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks, now would be the best time for Reza to make his move. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sounds of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving them as much security as he would ever have. I think this is copy-paste for what we had before with Anna, but I'll read it anyway for the benefit of the doubt because my memory's not so good, so if it is, I apologise, you can skip ahead. As the portal has been repaired by the mysterious person I met, now was the perfect time for Reza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Bryce, I think... Sorry. Bryce, we need to go, now! What? Do you want to take this somewhere else? No, I know where Reza is. What? What are you talking about? Are you sure? You really don't want to know what's in my fun basket? I bet my life on it. Then we have no time to lose. Let's go. Oh, we'll take the fun basket with us then. Maybe Reza could join in. We arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. While I checked out the portal itself, Bryce looked around the area. I was glad to see it was still turned off. Had it been used recently, it would either still be running or in the process of recharging. It was still here somewhere. Damn it. What is it, Bryce? Oh, yeah, Seb's dead body again. Sorry, Seb! We'll fix it, don't worry. I'm sorry you've been shot so many times. I apologise. I'll get you as soon as I can. He's dead, but still warm. And his cock's quite hard, too. Bryce, damn it, man. Just put it away. That bastard. Reza hasn't used the portal yet. How could he? Isn't it broken? Not anymore. Looks like someone repaired it. Then he must be close. But where is he? What is so important that he won't leave without it? The underground building. The administrator told me all about the prowess of the generators within. Probably hadn't been hard for Reza to guess the same, or to try stealing it from a place he knew would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. That must be it. So what do we do now? We could wait from here, but I think I've got an even better plan. What is it? Let's just do it like last time. You go in first, and I'll stay behind and out of sight. If you meet him, you can confront him and maybe talk him down, but if he tries to flee, you'll still have to get through me first. Alright, let's go. Bryce led me through to the dig site where they had unearthed the building's entry. Once we got nearer, he stayed behind and motioned for me to go forward. He slowly followed me, trying to stay in cover as I entered the building. I bet Bryce gets killed in this as well. Hope not. Inside I was met with a long illuminated hallway lined with doors, blah 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 blah. Since the lights were already on, let's have to be very close. No. Okay, here we go. Right, so basically this is just a repeat of last time, so we can skip through this again. Boop-de boop-de-boo. Yeah, I know, we've got differences of opinions, but except this time, I bummed the dragon, and he bummed me. So, I'll tell you something now, Reza, I feel sorry for you, because you're having to go through all this arduous labour over and over and over again, and yet I get to have lots of whoopee with dragons. It's fucking awesome. Blah 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 blah. Oh shit! Okay, here you go, new stuff. Even though Maverick was here before though. You planned this, didn't you, Rambler? Traitor! Not to think I let you distract me with such a cheap trick, just because I thought there was still a shred of humanity within you. Oh, there's more dragon humanity with me. He pulled his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go. I'll forget this thing ever happened. You've got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Reza? We've said this before, dear Rambler, and yes, he has shot and killed us all. He's going to do it again now, isn't he? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? No, but I did something better than that. Besides, this generator in the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity! Suddenly, the administrator came out of the shadows in the hallway behind Reza. No, they belong to me. Oh wait, it's a girl, isn't it? Ah, fuck it, let's just give him a manly voice. What's wrong with that? Until we get to know the real administrator later. Aiming over the newcomer, slowly walking towards him. Who the fuck are you? Freeze! I said freeze! Where's your gun, by the way, mate? Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free. You can't stop all of us. Ballsy girl there. Ballsy girl. Mind you, though, you'd have thought maybe she'd wear bullet armour. Because you can see she's got shot in the chest there, so you'd imagine she should have worn bullet armour or something like that. Notice the music's a bit different this time as well. Or at least, I don't remember this music. It was pretty cool, though. My first instinct was to run away, but as Bryce and Maverick started charging, so did I. Oh no! Oh shit! They're both down! Oh, damn it. So he's got one bullet left, doesn't he? I quickly drove behind the government and read a couple of times. Yeah, single shot came out and lodged itself in the box. I was seemingly unharmed. A loud hiss began to emanate from my cover. Everybody run! It's going to explode! Oh shit, you're alive, Bryce! I started running towards the exit, was soon overtaken by both Reza and Maverick. I looked over my shoulder to see Bryce grab the administrator before he started running as well. Boom! Why do I have to expand on that? I can't just let the sound effects take care of it, can I? I'm so sorry, guys. Same with the doorbell. I blame Markiplier for that. Just as I reached the outside, the explosion knocked me off my feet. There was a rain of small debris as I heard the walls of the building shaking in their foundation. As I looked up, I saw Reza fumbling with his gun as Maverick pounced on him. He bit into Reza's neck and strained for a second before ripping a large chunk out of it. Ooh. Oh, you survived this time. Oh, that's cool. Where's Bryce? I looked towards the entry, which was now mostly blocked by debris. He must still be inside. Now what are you still waiting for? Come on! He ran towards the rebel, only to see the administrator crawling through a small hole as she removed the last bits of debris that separated her from the outside world. Oh, okay, she's alive. That's interesting. After which, she lay down, panting heavily. Water began to trickle from the new opening. It's the water pockets! That building must be flooded! He's still inside. I'll clear away the rebel. You try to find him. Okay. We're set to work, so I struck my head into the hole the administrator crawled out of. Fuck the administrator, by the way. He can just bleed to death. The place was flooded completely, but luckily, even through the water, I could see Bryce as he also tried to clear the way from the rebel from the other side. I completely read that wrong. I apologise. Quickly, I pulled my head back out of the hole. He's on the other side, trying to get through! Who knows how long he's been underwater? Give him some air, you asshat! Oh, sorry. I took a deep breath before I went in again. I extended my arm to grab Bryce's muzzle. Luckily, he seemed to understand what I was going for as he moved into my reach. I pressed my lips to his muscle, giving him some much-needed air. Oh, romantic. I drew back, repeating the same process a few times while Maverick cleared away the rebel until eventually Bryce surfaced, panting heavily. Are you alright? Yes. Let's get away from here before the empty water pockets cave in or something. Alright, so the administrator's still alive. Don't know for how much longer, though, but this is... I like the way that the ending's different, not because of the characters we have, but different events happen as well. It's quite impressive. Anyway, Maverick carried the administrator while we went uphill towards the portal. Ooh, nasty. Can I pick up his gun that's loaded now? Because that would be quite handy. When I came across Riz's corpse, I took the time to strip him of his gun and ammo! Good man! Didn't do that before. Meanwhile, I suppose he was shocked then. Meanwhile, the administrator was set on the ground, and Bryce checked out everyone's injuries. Luckily, it seemed both Bryce and Maverick's were comparatively minor and didn't need any immediate attention. The administrator was not so lucky, however. She squirmed as Bryce moved her clothes out of the way to get a look at a bullet wound. No, don't. As I returned to them, I heard Bryce audibly gasping. Damn it. Is it bad? You ramble. Do you remember the first victim? Blood on his muzzle from fighting back was neither yours nor Reza's, but still distinctly human. I thought it was an error, although our DNA tests weren't compatible. But Reza doesn't have a matching bite from him. She does. Oh! That's interesting. That's a twist. I consider the implications of Bryce's words, whereas Reza usually didn't hesitate to admit the killings to reach a goal he thought noble. He had denied any such actions this time. Of course, there was no use ignoring the evidence before us. This could only mean one thing. So the administrator was killing. That's interesting. He did kill them, you know. Just not in this timeline. If you could even remember my name now, then you should also remember what else he would have done. How he would enslave them to use as weapons back in the future, and how he doesn't care what happens to this world. I don't remember that timeline. I had to do it in order to put you on the same trail he would have. If I come to you during the first night and tried to explain to you that I am a time traveller who had to kill in order to prevent a suffering that is magnitude's greater genocide, slavery, would you have believed me? Who could have known that sometimes even Reza can change? Oh. If he didn't kill anyone, there would have been no investigation, and you wouldn't have known how dangerous he is when he shows his true colours. Right, so in this timeline, he didn't do the killing then. You did, in order to keep the events going as they do. That's interesting. You just saw that even in this scenario, he wouldn't shy away from shooting others to get what he wants. Besides, I didn't want to risk jeopardizing our experience by changing things. It could erase all the progress we've made and all the things we've learned over the many times we've done this now. If I didn't shove you out the way in the cellar, when the light fixture came down, you would have died there and then. That's what happened the first few times. Oh, thanks for that. There was also a lot of trial and error involved to get where we are now. You wouldn't have believed the lengths I've had to go every single time, the consequences if I don't. I'll give you credit on that one. I like the fact you're giving me this talk on it now while you're dying of your blood wound, but still. You could not have followed the same path and arrived here if I didn't kill them. The fact that you remembered that it was originally Reza who did it only proves just how important this is. Yes, because we're beginning, as I was told before in the comments, we're remembering the timelines, aren't we? Only if the events stay the same long enough will you be able to learn from them and remember, despite the effects that repeated teleportations have on your memory. This only tells me that I've made the right call. Well, if Reza had nothing to do with it, then what was he doing when he was trying to take the generator? Well, I slipped him a note he thought came from you. It said to meet here and take the generator before you leave together. He played his part well enough, so you couldn't tell the difference. Oh. So he really did think I planned all of this, that I lured him here to have him arrested by Bryce and Maverick. For all he's done, I think he deserves to know what betrayal feels like.
I've listened to this long enough now. It was you and that's all that matters to me. No, Maverick, don't do it! I'll tear you apart!
Bryce tried to go in between them, but Maverick aimed his shoulder squarely into Bryce's bullet wound. Bryce collapsed, convulsing in pain as Maverick pounced on his oar and tore into her. Don't blame him. Fucking hell! Alright, let's just turn this into a big bloodbath now, shall we? I mean, wait a minute. If you're implying that... I mean, obviously, we're beginning to remember parts of the timeline still, which is fair enough. And the administrator is and all that. Fair enough. Reza's supposedly doing things differently as well. Interesting. So, surely the dragons as well would keep memories of this repeated timelines? Or is it only us the administrator because of the portal thing? No, because the administrator doesn't go through the portal like we do, does she? So, yeah. See, I thought, oh, well, maybe because we go through the portal, we're the only ones who have the time, not the time things, the memories, some of the memories of each timeline being kept with us. Because we go through the portal, so therefore we're the ones travelling in time so much. I mean, the administrator has done before, but so have, but now we're doing it. But each time so far, the administrator hasn't gone through the portal, has she? Or has she, and I've got that wrong? Because otherwise, how is she able to remember all this timeline stuff then? In which case, the other dragons would remember it as well. I was confused. I don't know, maybe I'm overcomplicating it. Meanwhile, I put a few bullets into the gun I took from Reza before I aimed at Maverick and pulled the trigger several times. Maverick collapsed instantly and looked at me with a pained expression. Beneath him lay Izumi dead.
Why?
He was trembling and took a few slow steps. My apologies, getting a phone call. I'll have to take it, so sorry for the interruption. Back in a moment. Oh, sorry about that. It's just my mum interrupting me to ask me what I'd like for tea, which is very nice of her, but she always interrupts at the wrong times. I swear we've got this psychic link where every time I'm going to do something important, she just comes and interrupts. She has no knowledge of anything. It's just that weird... I believe telepathy and psychic readings and all that shit. I think there's some truth to it. Small truths, but still. Anyway, it could be all twaddle. Still. He was trembling and took a few slow steps towards me, only stopping when I aimed the gun at him. Stop right there!
She killed them! And you protect her!
We needed her.
I told you I'd show no mercy if I found the killer. Just when I thought I could trust you. I should have known you'd shoot me just like Reza did.
No, it's not like that.
Then why?
I don't think I can explain. I'm going to go back in time and do this again. He shook his head weakly.
Thanks for proving me right, Neo Ramble. Do you remember when I confronted you a while back and asked you to explain your reasons? You told me I wouldn't understand. You're right. I don't.
His head slumped as he closed his eyes. He was dead. Yeah, that was a bit fucking stupid, like, why we did that. I mean, admittedly, I guess we were trying to protect this thing, but still. Not really... Yeah, not quite the way I would have ended that thing. I get it was out of reaction, but still. Whatevers. I'm surprised we're not being arrested now for dragon murder. Oh, hello. Oh, we're God knows how this is going to end. We're going to get arrested, put in jail. We're going to be with lesbians instead of gay dragons. Oh, it's going to be horrible. Not that I've got anything against lesbians. It's just now that we're a gay man in this timeline, that would be the worst sort of punishment. Because actually, no, why would that be the worst sort of punishment? Oh no, I'm just talking bollocks. Forgive me. Sorry. Whatever. Go to prison. Bad enough. Hey, Bryce.
I'm afraid I got some pretty bad news for you.
What is it?
We were able to power the portal again, even without the generators from the lab, but we still couldn't re-establish contact with humanity.
Why not?
Ever since the portal got sabotaged and was repaired, the coordinates, the connection to humanity's portal, just isn't there anymore.
Can't you locate it again?
We don't know how. We found a different set of coordinates in there, but for some reason we weren't able to use them.
I know. Only I can. For travelling back in time to the day of my arrival.
I guess you really are a time traveller, huh?
Now that you know everything, that really shouldn't surprise you.
What are you going to do now?
Well, I guess returning to humanity is out of the picture.
So it's either staying here or using the portal to return to the day you arrived here. All that time travel business is too complicated for me.
Izumi had it all figured out. I'm wondering what she would think about this outcome. All she ever wanted was to save you dragons, just like Reza only wanted to save humanity.
Now they shied away from killing people, so maybe you shouldn't look to them as pillars of morality. Either way, I'm not sure if you really have much of a choice here. You don't actually know if they can stop the comet. Of course they'll try, but without the generators from the lab, it's not looking great for us.
I initially came here to help humanity, but if I go back with what I know, maybe I can help you too.
At any rate, it was nice while it lasted.
Hey, no need for melancholy now. It's not as if we're going to not see each other again. It's very true. Soon I was preparing to return to the day of my arrival. Despite her actions, Izumi had made a good point. Thinking about the knowledge I'd had now, I realised just how important it was to remember and how it would help me during my next attempt. No doubt the teleportation would erase some of my memory again, but I could think of a few ways to retain some knowledge. Not only did I take my own written account of what had happened with me, but there was also physical reminders I should bring to remember, or I could bring to remember, such as Izumi's mask and cloak. With her gone, I was now the one who had the most experience. As I made my way to the portal... Yeah, but she's not gone. She's dead now. But if you time travel... Oh, wait, is she... Wait, no, because if we go back in time, she'll be alive again. Why would she not be alive this time? I know she's a time traveller, but... Oh, is it because she's a time traveller and we're being a time traveller that, because we can hop in and out of timelines, we've now created a meta-timeline whereby us, ourselves, as time travellers, actually follow our own timeline now that we can time travel. So if we get killed, we can't actually then... Or if one of us got killed as a time traveller, the other time traveller couldn't go back in time to save that other time traveller because of the whole meta that, you know, they're on a separate timeline relative to all the other timelines they visit. Which no, you just spin off another timeline. It's just that's why you got, it's not string theory, but it's parallel dimensional theory, isn't it? No, you just string off another timeline. No, you can't go back. No, that's bollocks. No, I call bullshit on that. Maybe she will come back alive, and it's just in this particular timeline she's dead, and I've got the most knowledge now or something. I don't know. As I made my way, I'm just overthinking again. I apologise. That's the problem when you're a physicist and you're dealing with physics. You tend to overthink things. This is where it came from. So if you want to know, this game is actually outlining the source of my overthinking and rambling nature. Thank you, game. Thank you for exposing me for who I truly am. As I made my way to the portal, I realised that in order to make this mission a success, to save everyone, this time I would just have to save myself. Selfish git. Alright, fine. Do that then. Alright, yeah, but I like... it's interesting how in that particular twist, Reza wasn't the one killing the dragons, because even he's changing. I don't know if that's because he's gaining memories of the timeline. That's the only bit I wasn't quite sure of. It could just be that with each timeline being played out, it doesn't necessarily mean that the same actions will happen. There is a theory for it, isn't there, where if you were to keep going back in time to the same timeline, there's still a chance that minor decisions that would have been made are made instead, you know, like alternative decisions, so that you can never have an exact repeat of a timeline should you go back in time. Something like that, I think. I don't know. Either way, we can't do time travel at the moment, and if we can, we can't know about it, because that would actually destroy the whole point of cause and causality, you know. Basically, you know, the theory goes that there's either no such thing as time travel, or time travelers do exist, they just cannot reveal their identity, because if they do, they fuck up the continuity thing. Unless there is a system in place whereby, like I said, you create alternative timelines that spin off from the one that you were in, so it somehow still preserves cause and causality. It's very, very complex, and I don't fully understand it, but it's very interesting though. You can do time dilation going forwards in time. You can do time dilation in real life, thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity and general relativity. You can, in theory, create a machine that whereby you'd have a wormhole, and you stabilise it in the middle, and you take the one end
and keep it static, and the other end you would say put it in a particle accelerator and accelerate it round and round and round and round and round as close to the speed of light as possible for, say, I don't know, 10 years. And then once you've done that, you can then put that wormhole end that you've accelerated round and round and round and round and round back towards the other wormhole, so you create like a Stargate type thing. And then there is actually, between the two ends of the wormhole, a difference in time because of time dilation. So it's not technically breaking the rules of time travel or anything, but it's close. You can do that. And the other particle that theoretically exists in maths only, because in reality it's not actually possible to prove, at least not yet. Maybe if we do harness the power of gravity waves, or really do fully detect and utilize dark matter and dark energy, if it exists. Although, again, my full understanding of the standard model of physics, I don't know even if we did any of those things, it would work. There is a particle known as the tachyon, which is only mathematically true. If you do the maths behind its existence, it comes out as true. You can't. The maths is solid. There's no major plot holes with it or anything like that. It's a fully viable particle that could exist. And the thing about the tachyon, and the reason why it's called that, is because it goes faster than light. It is the only particle that can go faster than light that we know of, or in theory can exist. But the problem is you can't detect it, because everything we use to detect stuff in the universe, fastest it will go is the speed of light. So to detect tachyons would mean you'd have to send an object that's also going faster than light to meet it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how soon or how early or how late or how on the ball you send your signal off to interact with the tachyons. By the time the signal reaches the tachyon, it's already gone past because it's going faster than light. You just can't interact with them. And if they do exist, then they're literally just going through us, or anything, as in going through the universe, without a single interaction. None of the tachyons interact with any part of our universe as we currently know it, because again, it has to conserve the rules of cause and causality. But because it's going faster than light, it is essentially going faster than time itself. So it can get to events before they happen, or it could, in theory, go back to events that has happened, if the other theory goes that the universe is a giant loop. It's like a giant cylinder or something like that. So whereby basically the theory goes, if you were to stare in one direction into the distance for long enough, eventually you'd see the back of your own head, because the universe is a big loop. And therefore time is essentially also a loop, or something like that. I don't know it 100%, and I could be wrong on that one, but it's along those sorts of lines, or loops, or whatever you want to call it. Fascinating stuff, mind you, but holy shit, you got to spend some time understanding it. Not all your life or anything, don't be ridiculous, but you got to spend a good deal amount of time learning it. And even then, it's all theory and conjecture and all that sort of stuff, because it's difficult to prove. But you never know, again, with the harness of perhaps gravity waves, which do exist, which is cool. And maybe even if we can interact with dark matter and dark energy, maybe there are ways to interact with it. You never know. Anyway, enough university waffling for now. We've now got Kevin, and we've got Bryce's good ending and the gun, and now our gun is loaded with ammo this time, which is quite interesting. Yeah, things are going up. So I'll be interested to see in the next timeline we do that the administrator's alive or not. She'd have to be, because thinking about it, she died in the other timelines, didn't she? Or at least died in the last one. I'm sure she did. When it was with Anna, I'm sure she was dead. Or at least she slumped anyway. And so I don't know if she did escape or not. No, I think she died in the last one. So yeah, in theory, she should still come back alive in the next timeline. I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, it's tricky. But anyway, yeah. Next time, what we'll do then is I'm not going to start a new one now. I'm going to end it here. In the next time, then we're going to do Lorem next. I think people want us to do Lorem next. Then it's Remy, and then it's Adine afterwards. So Adine's going last, which is perfectly fine by me. And I've also been told to make sure I do Adine's timeline quite slowly. I'll do them relatively slowly, for me at least, but if I feel, or if I appear or seem to be going rather fast, I'll try and be a bit slower for Adine's if people want it, so I don't mind that at all, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, it's really, I like the twist in that timeline, that even Remy was doing things differently, like still trying to do the same goal, but doing it differently. And the administrator's argument that she had to replicate the events again and again to keep the investigation going, because without those events taking place, we can't get to the finale where it all works out. I don't know. I'm guessing no, it has to work this way because our memory isn't complete yet. Every time we go back in time, our memory is still fragmented. So I guess by keeping the events going as they are,
then the more... but it means we still end up with the same singularity point, you know, with the showdown with Reza. We still get to that same point regardless. But every time we do it, our memory gets better and better and better. So I guess there will come a time where our memory's so good we don't need to... Doesn't matter then how the timeline works. We just do what we got to do. But yeah. But anyway, really enjoying this game so far. I really, really am. I have to admit, I'm very... The Kevin bit was a bit dull, but I know it's optional. You don't have to have it. You have to have the 5 main dragons for the good ending, I think. I don't know if these optional ones are part of it. Maybe it is. If it is, fair enough. But if it is that you have to do the Ice Cream Dragon and Kevin's was a bit dull, but at the same time he's just trying to show an educational side of things. It's just, I suppose, conjecture again to keep things interesting and varied. Again, you know, it's fine. But anyway, yeah, really am enjoying this game so far. I love the storyline. I love the repetitious nature of it, and I was really worried, as I said before, that doing it over and over and over again it would be getting dull, but the fact that things change is really cool, and that keeps it fresh. So I am enjoying that perspective, which is good. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now, so thank you very much for watching if you have done. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully my commentary came out okay, because I've had problems with my microphone lately, and if so, brilliant. If not, then shit. But anyway, until then, take it easy, have a good one, hope you're all well. Actually, I better... no, I don't think I can save, can I? Can I save? I can't save. Actually, I better start the next timeline so I can actually save the game. But yeah, what we'll do is, yeah, next time we'll do it and what have you. I just want to save the game, that's all. I think it does an auto-save, I can't remember, but just to be sure. So I might as well show you this bit just to make sure if anything does change, then you'll see it. No, yeah, this administrator there, yeah, she's still alive. In this timeline anyway, so that's fine. I guess he was just referring to the timeline we were in, that was all. Right, blah 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 blah. Oh god, we've got to do all this again. Can I just save the game? Yeah, can we skip? Yes, I'd like to skip ahead. I wonder if we didn't skip ahead, like we'd actually pick up on the nuances and differences of things. I don't know. Because I think the game did mention if you skip ahead on things that, you know, as long as you've done it right, it doesn't matter. But I think you still miss out on tiny changes that could hint towards the twists that occur. I don't know. Right, anyway, this is what I want to do. I want to save. I would say there's probably an auto-save. I just can't remember, but I just want to make sure. There we go. We're all saved up. So what we're going to do is Lorem. We're going to focus on Lorem for the next timeline, and then we'll take it from there. So can I say thank you very much again for watching if you have done. I hope you're all well. Take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye for now.